Welcome to Simply Bible Stories. This story is from Daniel chapter 3 about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. In the ancient kingdom of Babylon, there was a king named Nebuchadnezzar. Now this king made a statue that was 90 feet tall and 9 feet wide. He set it out in an open plain and called all of his counselors and all of his government officials to come worship the statue that he made. The statue was made out of pure gold. So you can imagine a 90-foot statue, pure gold, sparkling in the sunlight. So all of the government officials come and gather, and the king sends out a herald, a messenger, who says, "People, government officials, you are commanded that when you hear the sound of music, you should fall down and worship this golden statue that King Nebuchadnezzar has made. If you don't fall down and worship, you will immediately be cast into a burning fiery furnace." So when all the people heard the sound of the music, everyone fell down and worshipped this golden statue that King Nebuchadnezzar set up. There were some of the officials who were quite mean, and they didn't like other officials who happened to come from Israel. So they come up to King Nebuchadnezzar and say, "O king, live forever. You made a decree that every man who hears the music must fall down and worship. Did you not?" And the king says, Yes, I did make that command. And it worked well, didn't it?" These men said to the king, "There are certain men from Israel who you set up as rulers in the province of Babylon. Their names are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, don't pay any attention to you, and they don't serve your gods or worship this golden image that you made." Then Nebuchadnezzar, in a furious rage, commanded that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be brought to him. So they brought these men before the king, and Nebuchadnezzar said, "Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you don't serve my gods, and that you didn't worship this image that I made? Now, I'm going to give you one more chance. When this music plays, you fall down and worship this, or you will be cast into a burning, fiery furnace. What kind of a God will save you from that?" Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, "We serve a God, the only true God, who is able to deliver us from a burning, fiery furnace. We can't worship this image that you made." Nebuchadnezzar was furious, and his expression was turned into an expression of rage. And he said, "Turn the furnace up to 7 times as hot as it is. Pour as much fuel on that fire as possible." And they took Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and threw them in the burning, fiery furnace. The furnace was so hot that the men who threw them in caught on fire and died. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego fell into this fiery furnace, and as they fell, King Nebuchadnezzar jumped up, and his expression changed from one of rage to one of confusion and fear. He said, "Did we not throw 3 men into the fire?" They answered and said to the king, "Oh yes, king, we only threw 3. And the king said, "But I see 4 men, and they're walking around in the middle of the fire like they aren't hurt. And the 4th one looks like he might be a son of a god." And then Nebuchadnezzar ran to the fiery furnace, and he yelled out, "Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out and come here." Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the fire, and all of the government officials gathered together and saw that the fire did not touch these men. Not a single hair on their head was burned. Their clothes were completely fine. They didn't even smell like fire. Nebuchadnezzar stood and told the people, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angel and delivered his servants, who trusted in him. These men who set aside my commandment as king, but gave their bodies and were willing to die rather than worship anyone but the one true God." And the king said, "So I make a decree. Anyone who says anything bad against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego will be killed, and their houses will be destroyed, because there is no other God but the true God who is able to rescue people in this way. Then the king went a step further and promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to even higher positions in the province of Babylon. These men received favor in the sight of the king because they would not worship an idol, because they would only worship the one true God. And that was simply a Bible story. Hope you'll join me next time.